Hi, my name is Nunziata, and I'm a New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film, and I'm also a proud FENIX Global Artist Ambassador. Today, I am thrilled to be speaking with a friend of mine, the award-winning photographer, producer, performer, writer, and self-proclaimed multi-hyphenate. His name, Michael Kushner. Here is part one of our interview. Well, hello, Michael. How are you?
Hi, Will. It's so good to see you.
It is so great to see you, my friend. Before we get started, I just need to list off some of the things that goes on in that amazing brain of yours. I need a beat. I just think I need a beat.
I
Are,
literally almost went
I know, because you yes
like,
and.
no, I had literally, I really thought you were asking for like a beat, like, like
And,
fully.
and you were gonna give it to me. And I received that with such gratitude. Michael Kushner, you are an award-winning photographer, producer, performer, writer, podcaster, just overall creator with a capital C, artist with a capital A.
I think
You are
so.
you are a member of Actors Equity. You were in the pre-Broadway out-of-town tryout of On the Town. You were in the acclaimed Barrington stage production of Much Ado About Nothing. You have your own one-man show, Moo With Me, directed by Broadway's very own Max Crumb, that will be remounting once we get out of this mess. You are also a producer. You're one of the founding producers of Musical Theater Factory, a playwright. You executive produced the award-winning Emmy-nominated Indoor Boys. You have a podcast on Broadway podcast network called Dear Multi-Hyphenate. You're also a photographer. Oh, I don't know. Your photographs have been seen in, oh, I don't know, those little publications called the New York Times, Vogue. You created the Dressing Room Project, where you eavesdrop in on actors pre-Broadway getting ready. And you also curated so many beautiful galas, productions, and fundraisers, helping raise funds for specific organizations within the arts, where money went directly to the artists during the pandemic. And that is just the beginning, my friend. I mean, you are one of the most actively creative people who unapologetically has stepped into this multi-hyphenate role. I want to begin. Where did you grow up, and when did you know you wanted to be a part of it, New York, New York?
Well, I was gonna say a joke. I was gonna say, and I was drunk the whole time.
But
Um, but I was not. But I can't really land the joke because I'm so moved by uh what you're saying. And it's like you could do whatever you want, right? You can have agency over your career and make choices and sort of be as creative as you want. But if you're not like affecting people, and if you're not like if there's not emotion attached to it, then like why bother? But hearing
Well,
you
I want to go through that, Michael, for a second, and then we'll get to where you grew up. Because,
yeah.
like I told you in the pre-interview, I've had my eye on you throughout this whole pandemic, but also your whole career. We're friends. I know you, you know me.
Yeah, but
Being in the trenches, and I get it as an artist as well, being in the trenches, we sometimes forget like what is happening on the outside world and how people are being affected in a positive way through
yeah.
our content. But you are such a North Star for
Mm.
so many people at all different levels of this industry. And it's important for me to remind you what you do. It's
That's
important to be reminded.
That's very kind. I mean, it's. I talk a lot about like artist guilt and creators guilt, and the old artist guilt sort of used to be, uh, I'm not creating enough, or like I'm not creating enough. I'm not using my artistic proficiencies in the way that I should be. Feel it. But now in this pandemic with social media, there's this artist guilt of like, why am I the one that's creating? And people are leaving the city. They're leaving the city to go back to their childhood homes because they can't pay rent or they're done with the industry. and there's a guilt associated with it sometimes, because I'm like, should I post this project right now when literally I just saw my friend pack up their apartment that they lived in for 15 years and they're done, and now all of a sudden I'm like, next project coming up. Like, when, like, what is the fine line? Like, what's appropriate? When is it not aware? There, being a multi-hyphenate, especially in the pandemic, there has to be a sense of uh social responsibility,
Yes.
which bleeds into the choices. Like, I feel much more confident posting about something, a project that I'm doing, if it's directly and positively affecting the audience in a very specific way. Like, all my producing projects, like, they benefit a group of people in a positive way. So I don't have any guilt posting that. But if I'm like, sometimes if I get like an award or something like that, it's difficult sometimes to be like, I'm getting this acknowledgement, look at my career skyrocketing, when there's so much like
I want to affirm
unrest.
something for you, Michael, though, because you already have an innate sensitivity. And I want to affirm that you already have that innate sensitivity, that people that know you, the people that know you, like, like, that's all that matters. And also, every project, even pre-pandemic, that you've ever been a part of, whether it is, your dear Multi-Hyphenate with Broadway Podcast Network, with the Dressing Room Project, with any of the photographs that you take of people, in finding their light, in allowing them to exude it in an unapologetic, new, vulnerable way that they may not have ever felt. Every single thing that you have ever done has always shed light onto the world. And I need to remind you of that, to not feel with the awards, because you know what, Michael? People root for you. Why? Because you don't make your projects about you.
Did not expect to cry on this Monday morning. That's beautiful. Thank you.
No,
And
it's the truth, Michael.
thank you. It's, Will, it's very kind that you're saying this, and I think it's a testament to your artistry as well, because you're not afraid of lifting other artists higher. I think somewhere along the lines we all started in supportive, well, not, I don't want to generalize, but many of us have started in supportive environments where, we're doing shows as kids. And as I'm saying this, no, that I'm completely wrong in saying all of us. A few of us have been quite lucky to be raised in the arts and do community theater and stuff like that. But I do wonder where somewhere along the way it went from supportive environments to, we're not able to lift each other higher, where it gets competitive,
Yeah,
where it gets like that. So hearing you talk very openly brings me to the root of why we do what we do.
that's
And
right.
most of it has to do with environment and the way that artists can support each other. And I think now is extremely important, as we're understanding a lot, so as we're bringing to light a lot about the industry that we've always known to exist,
That's right.
but really how it really is not working for many people. And so hearing that kindness does still exist in this industry is, I think, really important. So thank you for saying that.
Well, look at Michael. We both have been in this industry since we were very young. And I think that there's a landscape within we are able to view from 30,000 feet that maybe some people may not be able to. You're one of the most talented people I know, one of the kindest, and we got to find each other and support each other.
Yeah.
And you bring up, yes, you're right. Not a lot of kids got all the support that maybe me and you got growing up to just go for it. But at the end of the day, we were all little kids at play. We were all
Yeah.
one-time kids at play. And where did that, like you're saying, when did the competition begin? Where did the play in some people get lost? And frankly, I think that goes back to a little bit, you were touching on social media, that whole kind of, guilt that you might feel, and a lot of artists feel, about putting stuff out there while people are actually leaving because it may not serve them anymore, which is, God bless, cool. But
Yeah.
I think that we have to remind ourselves, being both sensitive people of the planet, that we shouldn't dim our lights in creative projects that we want to put out in the world for, very good reasons, because of maybe some noise we have, because there are other people out there that might have that similar noise and can relate.
Yeah, I'm certainly not saying that my social media presence is perfect, but I have very close friends where their social media presence annoys the hell out of me, mainly because I'm like, it's not authentic.
That's right.
And then I have other friends that their social media presence annoys the hell out of me because they're not utilizing it in the way that they should. So there's this balance of like, I'm a mess. What am I? Am I a millennial? Is that what I am? I was born in 1991, so I guess I'm a
I
millennial.
don't know what those things are.
I know we label each other. I mean, it's all on TikTok and stuff like that. Um, but I believe I'm a millennial, and um, sometimes I'm like, I'm a messy millennial, and then other times I'm like, here I am featured in Vogue, and and then here's like a client that I'm really proud of, or like, or a really gorgeous photo of me with like an inspirational quote. Like, I really try to find the balance so that like people that don't know me, right? People that don't know me, uh, can feel as if they do. Um,
Mm.
because there are times when I'm extremely messy and I'm hungover, or I'm anxiety, or I'm riddled with anxiety, or I've had a bad day, and I try to share as much as that as possible without looking unprofessional.
Michael, I want to stop you there because you bring up something very important. And by the way, um, I'm going to mention this because it moved me greatly when you came out and you talked about your personal COVID-19 story of
Oh,
getting it, which I'm
great
sure must have
example.
been incredibly hard for you, especially during a time when we know of some young people in our industry who got very sick and some unfortunately passed away.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that noise to even post that. But again, it's you putting out the vulnerability, the dichotomies and trichotomies that, right? One day you can wake up hungover after pulling a 5-day all-nighter, getting paid $5.
Right.
And the next day you're on, giving a feature on, a cover page of Vogue. That's called the business of show, but that's also called life. And
Yeah.
so what you are providing is a beautiful service
Thank
of
you.
something called truth.
Thank you. Yeah, that's very, yes, thank you for saying that. The COVID experience was interesting to sort of put on social media because I bear with me, and if you have done this, I apologize in advance, and if anyone watching has done this, I apologize in
No
advance.
apology zone.
But I think when people post hospital selfies or like vague health posts, I think it is the most inconsiderate thing, because you're posting these things and getting your family, the people that support you, that follow you, nervous about
Yeah.
about your well-being, like hospital gown, like peace sign,
Well,
selfie.
Michael, do you think that's a seen and heard situation? They maybe just want to be seen and heard, or what do you think that's about? Not
So
to psychoanalyze, but we can go there.
so then I mean, I do very much so, but then, that was pre-COVID for me, and then I got COVID, and I'm like, well, I do want to share my story and be seen and heard,
Mm.
but I'd rather give people the skinny. I'd rather, as an artist, somehow turn my experience into a lesson,
That's
into
right.
have a through line, have a moment that of finding the beauty in it, in the fact that our lives, my why for what I do is non-quotidian artistry that benefits the world around me, non-quotidian, off the beaten path, different. That
Mm.
the fact that as artists, that our lives are every day there's a beginning, middle, and end. There's something worth telling a story over. So when people are stuck, when people are like, I don't know what story to tell. I don't know, like, I'm not inspired by anything. Every single day, there is something brought to you.
That's right.
And whether or not you understand that is entirely up to you. But I'm telling you, it's there. So take what you will and run with it. And for me, it was when my biggest story that I've capitalized on and shared with people and performed was when I photographed Idina Menzel. But that was, that's already now almost 5 years ago. The story has changed. Then now we throw Julie Andrews into the mix, and we throw Idina's Carnegie show. So there's a second time that I photographed her. So there's more to write there. But now, in the middle of this pandemic, what did I learn about myself that I've had COVID? What are my limitations now? What have I brought into my professional life, into my personal life? What are those lessons? And there are many. And so, and also there's a healing element, not just for me, but for others, because there are people, and I know they are not connected with their bodies, but if I get to share my my long hauler effects with COVID, someone else will hear it and go, wait, that's not right in my body. That's new.
That's
I hope, and they'll be able to get on the phone with Mount Sinai, get on that 6-7 month wait list that I had to get on, and finally get seen by COVID specific specialists.
Right.
Well,
Michael, look at the end of the day, you're a storyteller. And whether it's your story, or whether it's someone's story through photos, or whether it's a story through video, or through a podcast, you're a storyteller. And I love that everything that you do, in my OCD brain as a director, where I'm all about setting the terms, at the end of the day, you're a storyteller. And then that's like all the tentacles that come out of it, it's clean because you're a storyteller.
Thank you.
And I love, again, and I mentioned everything just a little bit about the different tentacles, because I wanted people to just get an idea of the breadth of work that you are able to do. And hopefully thus from this interview, artists can realize that they can do as well, if they just are able to tap into the fact that in a world that likes to put people in single boxes because it's easier for them to place on a shelf, that if you are more than one box, how beautiful is that?
Look, people don't get it. And, people don't get it. And that's okay.
In the digital age, artists and bands struggle to make a living. In fact, only a small number of artists can live off their craft. For the 98% of artists that don't have the luxury of being signed to a label, it's tough. But artists deserve to live off their art. Wherever you are around the world, appreciation of music does not change. FENIX brings bands and their fans together, whilst allowing bands to properly monetize their passion. The FENIX app will directly connect bands and fans with no need for middlemen. We're utilizing the blockchain to give the power back to the artist once and for all. Join FENIX, join the change.